Okay, so like you already know, I don't like modifying your design. Okay, I would like it to stay as it is. What we just have to do is just add a little bit tweaking. Why I do like that is so that you can see the power of what you can do, not what I can do, because it's not about me, it's about you learning. So this is what we are going to do. Basically, I think you're using a popping font that I don't have. This size is okay. The color should be white, okay, and it should be centered, but we are coming to that. The color of this also white. That color doesn't work very fine on red background, okay. So we are going with something a little bit thicker. This is okay, so that it can be very visible from afar. Your scales is not very cool, okay. So we are going to go back to properties and we are going to reduce the scale from 1612 to 1200, okay. Let's make it 1000. Cancel. Let's make it 1000. Make it 1000. Okay, fine. So now we made it 1000. I can select on it again and expand it to get to the edge. That's simple. Select the both of them, and we could group the both of them, but let's just select and make sure everything is almost centered. It mustn't be perfectly centered. Then we'll pull this one down a little bit. Okay, now the next thing we are going to do is to make sure all edges don't look too sharp. It's very important. Not that it is something you must do, but very important. This part, we can select the anchor point here to curve, but we can't select the anchor point here to curve. Why? Because the edges, you didn't make it very smooth. There are two ways to fix that problem. One of which is just select the rectangular tool, draw from this part, okay, and select the both of them. Use the shape builder tool, hold the Alt key, and erase these parts. Sorry, you're supposed to erase. So don't hold the Alt key. Hold the Alt key, we create, not erase. So erase this part and we are good to go. We can delete this one out. So when we select this now and go to the direct selection tool, we can see the anchor point because that part is smooth. That's one way to fix it. The other way to fix it very easily is, watch closely. We are going to point at one of these points, select the anchor point, and we point at one of this edge. What we are trying to do is to find out what actually is the problem, why we don't have that anchor point. So the problem we have here is because we have multiple anchor points at an edge. When you have multiple anchor points at an edge too close to each other, you can't have an anchor point to curve. So you're going to delete one of that anchor points. Not only just deleting one of that anchor point, we could also delete this also, and we can smoothen this a little, and it's still okay from there. Then we check again if the anchor point is ready. Now the anchor point is ready. So that's the second way to fix that anchor point issue if you're having that. So we select on this and hold the shift key and select on this also and curve the both of them respectively. Okay, just a little curve, like let's say this about 15 pixels or so. You are also having the same anchor point issue from here. You see, we can't fix it the same way we fix this one because these edges, we can't curve it like we curved that other one. So we go to that particular area, we find out the anchor point that's giving that issue, we delete this one and we check our anchor point again if it is ready. Still not ready, select on it again. Okay, select on it again, we delete this particular anchor point. So we check our anchor point again if it is ready. Now it's still not ready. It's still not ready. Let's check if that line is straight. I think this line is not very straight. Select the anchor point again, we delete this anchor point and delete this anchor point. Let's check our anchor point again. So good. So those two anchor points here are hindering our effects to happen from this edge. So we select it, select this anchor point and select this other anchor point and we curve it a little more. This top side, I think we also need it. We have an anchor point issue here. So we select this, remove this anchor point and we check our anchor point if it is ready now. So select this and also select this and curve it a little. While you're having those anchor point issues while you are creating, okay? While you are creating, we aren't doing it the best way you should. Okay, we should also delete all this. There shouldn't be multiple anchor points at edges like this, okay? Please, if you have such issues, just remove them. They are not necessary. I don't even know how you created this. There shouldn't be multiple anchor points like so. No. All these anchor points are irrelevant. The line should be straight as possible, okay? So make sure you delete all anchor points at a straight line. In a straight line, all you need is just 2 anchor points, one at the beginning, one at the end, and one at the end here, one at the beginning here. Let's delete this, one at the beginning here, one at the end here, one at the beginning here, one at the end here, one at the beginning here, one at the end here. But this doesn't matter anymore because we have fixed these ones. Okay, so those anchor points, make sure you clear them off. So we can select and curve our edges. Why I did that was we curved these edges and the right side was too sharp. That's why I detected there are multiple anchor points working against our structure. So we select on this also and curve a little more. So we are trying to modify this. We are going to change the color of this to white. The color of the circle also to white. Fine. So we have that too. The next thing we can do, we have the basic concept we want. We can select on this point, and curve a little. We didn't select the other points. Select on this point and this point and curve them a little, just to show the effect of the curve. We don't want any part to be too sharp. This part I want it to be very relevant, okay? So we could pick the anchor point on this one and pull it up a little. When you're having a curve like so, it's because of this one up here. And because we've curved it already, we can't have that smooth edge anymore, okay? So it's cool you fix your curves initially while you are building, okay? Before you start building, you fix all of this before you start curving the edges. If you didn't do that, what you're gonna do is very simple. Okay, you retain it, go back to those anchor points which you want to affect, select on them and curve the edges to be pointed. Now you can select on this anchor point and you can work on it without having any issue. So you get the point. After you are done, you can go back to that anchor point and curve it as you wish. So we are good. Now the next thing is to add a little more styling to this design, okay? One of which you can select on these parts, select on the bottom parts, select all the parts from here and pull them down a little. I'm going to show you what we are going to do with that. So we are going to create a hexagon icon, which you're going to find from here. Click option, polygon I mean. And what we are going to do is very simple. We're going to create a polygon shape like so. Will it be like this or like this? Okay, this fine. So select all anchor points and curve it a little. Then make this become a stroke by clicking on this. It will revert the color to become a stroke. Now we can increase the stroke as we want from over here. I'm still maintaining the color red, okay? Make sure always you tick these two whenever you are designing. Go into transform, enable these two. Always do that whenever you are designing. Whenever you're designing and you're running a stroke functions. Because if you don't do that, when you increase this size, it will reduce. It will maintain the ratio as we are doing it now. So pull it in the middle. We are going to practically deal with this stroke first. Lest I forget. Okay, fine. So we increase the stroke a little more, and that is okay for me. Okay, that's okay. So now we've increased it to that side. I just don't like this color, I don't know why. So now we've increased it to that side. We could click option here and expand the stroke. One expand is okay. Go to our color variations and pick one of our color values down here. You can reduce the size a little. Select on this and let's work on this color. What color will be cool for this brand? So you're just gonna choose colors that are cool. I noticed something. This is not the actual color. Possibly you are designing with CMYK. I don't know if you started with CMYK, but let's see. So we have this color. We can modify, we can further modify, we can delete this, we don't need this anymore. Can further modify our color now from this edge. Let's add a little bit of thicker red. No, we've not selected the element. Select the element first, get to the color, and we can now modify. fine, and these parts, cool. So we have two color modified, and we can play around with our color. Fine. So we have this shape and we have this color over here. What else we can do is to increase the age of this particular layer. Okay, what we can do, we can just create a shape just around this one. Okay, then select the house and merge them together. Click on this and click on unite. Okay, that unites it, though it push it to the front. You can click on arrange and send it to the back again. So we have this shape available. So we can pull our names, our name concepts down, okay, to the middle or somewhere here. Okay, next thing we can do, create something that looks like a house. So we create a rectangular shape, a window I mean. Create a rectangular shape of white and place at the front, I think like so. Okay, fine. And create another one, place like so. So let's make sure the both of them are centered. We want to center them, we can group them, then we're gonna do that later anyway. Select on this and this and this and pull it down a little more. So select on these two and duplicate them. I think we have to zoom closely so we see what we are doing clearly. Fine. Okay, can select on this two also and fine. So we can group everything here and can center it and give it a little bit of curve, just a little. The padding or the spacing or the gap between these are too small, so we can expand that a little. And we still give the same pattern we gave to the top and the bottom to this one. It's too much this time around, so select on these two and select on this two. I think this is fine. Fine. Okay, so we're going to give a little bit of styling beneath this, under this particular one. So what we're going to do is select on that one, and we're going to create our shape from here. Okay, just a little thing to make everything shine. Fine. So we can click option and arrange and send it to back, or send it backward one more step to the back. So select on this and select a dark color, and we select on it, and we can reduce the opacity just a little. Okay, just a little, and that is cool. So we click option again. I think it said this should go backward. Fine, it's to the back now. See, so we're having that effect, assuming that there is a glow, there is an effect of shadow from this particular layer. So to remove this particular part, which we don't want, you can select on this and select on this, and use the shape builder tool and remove this part. Ctrl Z, sorry about that, and use the Alt key and remove this part. Use the Alt key also and remove this other part. You can select on this part. Since the center is curved, we can select on this part and curve the center so you can match with what we have beneath here. We're having an issue here. This is not perfect, so let's go back and refix our work. Select on this and push it, make sure everything is in the middle. So select on it again, select on this again, and use the shape builder to hold the Alt key and erase this, erase this. Then we move to the middle to curve it to match with what we have in the other side, or from the other side. So the opacity, I think you can make it darker. That is cool. I think this edge deserves a little bit of height. This particular edge deserves a little bit of height, just like the other side have. So that's okay. I think also we could select on this and choose a darker version of red to match with what we are doing. So we increase the opacity this time around. We just want the field to be there. Fine. So this is okay for me, but if you want to take this a little step further, let's just reduce this. It's too big, bogus. Fine. So if you want to take this a little step further, I think, what if we add a box here and a box here? We're just trying to create, no, that would be too busy. That would be too busy. Okay, select on this, and let's just group everything. Let's just group everything here. Control G, and we can pull it up a little. Group this, pull it up a little too. So fine. So we can use a gradient of red for this. I'll still use the same which we are using currently. Then we can add a little bit of styling to the house. Can create some shapes ranging from this angle, ranging from this angle down, 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 down. Okay, fine. Pull this down a little here. Select it and select on the house and use the shape builder tool and remove these parts. Select on the center part, select on the anchor point, and work on your curves. Just double click and it will do its job. Just a little bit of curve from here and there. Okay, since we have that shape, we can give a little bit of effect to it. Just a little bit of effect like so. Let's chew it up. Okay. And do you think we can do anything to this part? What about the windows? We can do something to that too. We can just select this part and that's cool. Select the both of them, use the anchor point, and we hit on this part to erase it. We can now select the middle and give it a little bit of curve like so. Okay, so that part we are going to give it a grayish white. Gonna give it a grayish white, a little grayish. Fine. Control Z. Let's see from afar how it looks. It looks fine, but I want it to be more grayish. So we pull it a little more grayish. And we can duplicate this and revert or rotate it to work for these parts. I hope you get the point. So any part we revert it to, it works. We are not going to add it to these ones because it's going to be too complex. So we just want that little effect touching to the other side. So let's do one other styling, gradient, advanced gradient styling to this part. So we hit on these parts, and select, and we use the shape builder tool to remove this, and we have to set it to the back of this text. We can do that by hitting over to the layers, layer panel. Okay, go to layer and pull it to the back, as you can see from here. Go to the layer and pull it to the back of everything, but in the front of the house. Look at the house, but this is in front of the house, but in the back of everything. So select on that element again. Okay, select on that element again, and we're going to just hit on the edges to give it a little bit of curve. This part can touch to the edge, so it will make more sense. Fine. I don't like the gradient there. We can reduce it a little or make it faded like so. Fine. Have courses on that too. Let's try this way. Okay, let's give a little bit of control from here. Fine. Fine. So we have this this concept, and I think it is better as it is. We could further select on it, pull this down a little, and add a little bit of thickness also. I think we can add a little bit of stroke to it. Okay, is that too much to ask for? Okay, go to object and we expand again. We expand and we go to unite. No, not unite. Let's go to object again, expand, and we are good to go. We can unite now. It's not uniting also. Okay, this is practically because we have already done that to this particular layout before now. Okay, as you can see, it is radical. It's been used before now. So in most cases, you can't expand it further because we've done that already. We've done that already. You are going to have issues. If you watch closely, you're going to see that this shape have some lines around it. I don't know how to show you that. I don't know how exactly to show you that, but shapes have lines around it. So if you notice you are falling into this issue, what you could do is you just create a new hexagon, but make sure you have the thickness you wanted before you can start creating your. Make sure you have the thickness you wanted before you can start, working around your stuffs, adding colors and all of that. I think this is okay. Let's weigh it with the one we created before. And look at the line I was telling you about. You see, this is the line from the previous one we just created. It have been over expanded, and if it is too expanded, you see issues like this. Okay, you're gonna see issues like this. So we just check it out if it is okay. I think this is okay. Let's pull it in, just in here, and a little bit up. I think it's too much. Let's reduce a little, just a little, and this is okay. This is cool. So we can go to option now and expand, and we fill it in, and we pick in the color we wanted, and we are good to go. Can delete this now. So the arrow sign I think could be at the edge somewhere here, but putting it in here, I don't know if it's okay for you. That's fine too. So practically this is just the modification as far as we can go, and this is as simple. If we place this on a mockup, let's just try this on a mockup and see how it works. So let's try this on the most recent mockup we created. Okay. And by the way, we are practically going to remove. We're practically going to remove, change the color actually. Okay, we're going to change the colors of the environment to make it match this. But with what we can see, everything looks smooth and cool. Okay, possibly we can select on this layout and hide this out and pull this in again, pull it in the back and expand it more. We could have something like this. Make sure the name doesn't show. Okay, putting an overlay at the back, make sure the name doesn't show. You can reduce the opacity a little and make the background of the cup. I can change the color of the background of the cup from here, and we are almost good to go. So we're also gonna change the background of the element itself. You can pick that from here. So we can pick any background color we want from here, and we are good to go. This cup color, I don't really like it. Let's go white. It's too much. It's left for you to play around. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a wonderful day till we see you in the next one.